It's Thursday night in the A. You know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney is coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
The sun is shining just a little bit brighter, the air feeling a little bit crisper, and everything just a little sweeter after that first one of the season, Tori.
Yeah, the vibes are significantly higher this week than they were last week, and I, for one, am really happy about it.
We love that.
Yeah.
The Falcons pick up their first win as they turn their focus to the winless Panthers, but we're going to relish in that Sunday Night Football win just a little bit longer here. Let's huddle up about it.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
2 words, y'all. Rookie takeover. That's the vision Billy Bowman told me this 2025 rookie class has been talking about since they were drafted. And he said on Sunday, it was amazing to see all their dreams come true, like all at once, literally. It was the first time the Falcons have had 6 sacks and 4 turnovers in the same game since 2004. And it started and ended with James Pierce, Jalen Walker, Billy Bowman, and Xavier Watts. I mean, how do you encapsulate how rare it is to see that many rookies ball out in the same game for the same team, Tori?
Well, I mean, the fact that none of this has even happened since these guys were in probably diapers, let alone haven't maybe even been born yet. But the youth movement in Atlanta is not only alive and well, but it is thriving. And it's not just this rookie class. Heck, Brandon Dorless or Romo had themselves a game too. So you're talking about the last 2 draft classes making a statement. And I think this all goes back to something Raheem Morris said at the beginning of the preseason. The Falcons are going to be intentional about playing their young guys. I think the fact that this group of playmakers is off to as hot of a start as they are is a testament to them, but also the coaches for getting them ready for their trial by fire early in their rookie years.
True. And anytime Brandon Dorless giggles on national TV, it is a good time.
So good.
The magic number on Sunday was 5. 5 sacks in the first half, the most in a half for Atlanta in any game since 2009. And the number of field goals also made by Parker Romo. Also the number of days he was on this team prior to leading it to victory. His 15 points off of field goals alone would have been enough to beat the Vikings on Sunday. And there were so many great storylines on Sunday. I think one of my favorites is that Parker Romo said he just followed Bradley Pinion around the whole night because he didn't really know what else to do. It's like when a teacher assigns a buddy to the kid who transfers in the middle of the year to make sure they kind of find their way around, make friends. Whatever he did on Sunday, he was literally the difference between the Falcons coming away with the dub or an L. Do we think we see that Peachtree City kid again this week?
Yeah, so Raheem Morris said Monday that he's 90% sure Parker Romo is going to be the team's kicker this Sunday, and I think that's the right call. In a game that comes down to 1 scores as frequently as they do in the NFL, having a kicker who can go 5 for 5 with a 54-yarder is necessary. But the Falcons still have a decision on their hands with the kicking situation because Romo is only a practice squad player. You get 3 practice squad elevations for a single player a year. So once he's elevated a 3rd time, he has to be signed to the active roster. So what happens to Younghoe Koo in that scenario? Well, Kelly, it's a bridge that we may have to come to sooner rather than later.
90%, just make it 100%.
I know.
What are we doing? All right. As Bijan Robinson told me after the game, I love seeing my teammates succeed, but we need 6, not 3 when we get into the red zone. And he's right. The Falcons need to come away with more than 1 touchdown in 5 red zone trips that they did on Sunday. Until that Tyler Algier touchdown drive, the Falcons ran 10 plays in the red zone that went just 21 yards. Penalties, lack of execution, play calling, it all got in the way of Atlanta getting 6 instead of 3 in those scenarios. How can they improve that against Carolina?
Yeah, so we talked to offensive coordinator Zach Robinson this Wednesday, and he was asked about this, and he said the team has to be better on 1st and 2nd down. It goes without saying that getting into longer 3rd down situations inside the 20 makes things difficult, and Robinson set the expectation, saying, quote, "It's our job to put the ball in the end zone. We have to score. We can't settle for field goals because that's not a winning football team," end quote.
First road trip of the season, and the boys were packing heat. Let's get to it. We're walking in. We're starting out with this because what are those? My man Kadero Hodge normally slays. I think this is a slip. The jeans remind me of those tuxedo t-shirts that look like a tuxedo, but it's just a t-shirt, or the big t-shirt dresses where it looks like someone's wearing a bikini.
Yeah.
Because why are we pretending that we're wearing cowboy boots?
Yeah, I kind of want cowboy boots on just in general. I think there's a lot going on here. I don't hate it though. I actually think it's a little adventurous, and it's it's interesting. It's gotten us talking.
It is interesting. I would have liked it more for the Dallas trip though, I will say.
Yes, okay, good point.
We are all about supporting each other. That's exactly what QB1 was doing here, wearing Darnell Mooney World merch. But my favorite part is like the Darth Vader vibes, like the lighting that he has going on here. This look was not losing.
No, honestly, I really love Michael Penix because there are sometimes he kind of comes in and he's like, hey guys, what's up? And then there's other times he looks like this, walking in, and you're just like, all right, this guy's ready to play.
He is locked in. Time to give the big boys some love. Look at Elijah Wilkinson, man. I mean, a maroon suit, or is it purple for the Vikings trip? Appropriate for a Minnesota work trip. I love it.
Yeah, I really like it when the offensive linemen come in all dapper. I know Chris Lindstrom has done it a couple of times. It's like they're on a business trip. They're ready to go.
Speaking of Chris Lindstrom, the right side of the O-line was making the right choices with their wardrobes on Sunday night. Locked in with the suit and with the headphones as well. Classic and classy as Chris Lindstrom always is.
I feel like his gray suits just get elevated every single year. You know, he's really into the gray suits, and this is a nice one. I like it, Chris.
Finally, a faux pas or a coordinated matching moment. Running back roommates Tyler Algier, Nathan Carter in the Atlanta graphic tee. We've definitely seen someone wear this before. I think it might have been D. Alford, but he did not wear it at the same time as someone else. And I'm just imagining like the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other as they walked into the game on Sunday.
Or do we think they planned it?
I don't know.
Were they like...
I'm torn.
I know.
Actually.
I could so see Tyler Algier being like, I'm wearing this and I kind of want you to wear it too.
I love it. I love it. Well, if you love a good sports bar, and who doesn't? Let me put you on to a new one. Jolene. They're a bar for women's sports, which is great timing with the WNBA playoffs underway. Their owner, Chelsea Fishman, joins me in the nest later in the show.
Plus, how the Falcons gave back in Flowery Branch this week. That story is coming up next on Rise Up Tonight.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. By Mercedes-Benz, official luxury vehicle of your Atlanta Falcons. And by Home Depot, how doers get more done. Do you ever wonder what's really on your favorite player's mind? It's time for the question of the week.
And sweet.
Any type of sour gummy candy.
I snack at night.
It's gonna be like a dessert. Like I want like tiramisu. I want a nice molten lava cake. I want a big old ice cream sundae.
I can go through like multiple bags to the point where I get sick, and I get the same lecture every time from my wife. Why did you do that? Like it happens every time.
Why?
It's weird, like I try not to eat junk food throughout the whole day, but sometimes at night, like I'll have a bowl of ice cream or like I'll eat like fruit snacks.
I don't eat sweets that much, but I like creme brulee.
Pizza.
Pizza.
I'm just pepperoni, but like that's my favorite food, but I can't really eat it during the season, so.
I play a ton of Xbox, and so that's like my hobby. I go home and I'll stress-free play for an hour or two, and so that's kind of it.
You know, the next time I have a middle of the night bowl of ice cream, I'm gonna think of Bijan Robinson. He's just like me for real.
Our relatable king, because I also do the same thing, even though I'm trying to cut back a little bit.
Well, speaking of Bijan Robinson, this team needed a rebound like no one's business in the ground game department. They more than doubled their yards per carry, 2.5 to 5.6 from week 1 to week 2. And you took a deep dive into this in this week's film study.
I sure did. This offensive unit had something to prove when it came to the run game, and I'll say it, they proved it, showing that the standard for what they want to do is week 2, not what they did in week 1. Now, 3 things that came up in this film study that were changes from week 1 to week 2. Offensive linemen were just executing a lot better at the line of scrimmage, putting hats on hats, getting guys, pushing guys downfield. There was also a bit more 12 personnel usage, so Charlie Warner doubled his time on field from week 1 to week 2. And speaking of Charlie Warner, the way the Falcons used him in different ways, different alignments, different motions, kept Minnesota on their toes where they couldn't really telegraph which way the run was going. And you have to give credit where credit is due to Zach Robinson for seeing that in week 1 and making that change in week 2. All of these things led to a very successful run game on Sunday night.
Well, coming off that big Sunday night football dub this week, a couple Falcons celebrated the win with some special kids in the community as we rise up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist. Natron Brooks, Dee Alford, and Zach Harrison visited participants and staff at Eagle Ranch, a Christ-centered nonprofit in Flowery Branch. About 30 kids participated in fishing with the players. They had a dodgeball competition. Players also signed autographs, took pictures, spoke with participants during the visit, and it meant a lot to all involved.
I feel like that says a lot about their character, like that they enjoy hanging out with people and that they like hearing our experience with the world. Fishing with the Falcons is pretty fun.
It's bigger than football to us, as a team, we do a great job as a team to just always give back to the community, come out and always give. So no matter what the game, no matter what result, every Tuesday we always somewhere giving back to the community, always making some type of effect on the community. Me being from Mississippi and kind of a country boy, just got a chance to experience and come out and fish and do things like that with the kids, which was great.
And I know you're learning your teammates' names. You know their names, right?
I know Bijan.
Man, Melissa started doing Parker Romo dirty. Give my guy a break. He just hopped off the plane at ATL. Well, everyone knows his name after that Falcons debut. We'll talk a little more about him at the end of the show. And we're also talking about women's sports and where the best place to watch them is in Atlanta. Jolene in Kirkwood. Don't miss the owner of Atlanta's Home for Women's Sports joining me in the nest next.
Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
We're taking In the Nest on location this week at Jolene. I'm here with Chelsea Fishman, who is the owner, founder of this only women's sports bar, or all women's sports bar, the first in Atlanta. Just a really cool concept, and I'm excited to be here to take this in because this is a really cool space. First of all, tell me how you guys kind of landed here, because if anyone's familiar with y'all's story, you've kind of bounced to a couple different places, and this is now your home.
Over the past year or so, I've been doing these pop-up events and just popping up for one game here, one game there, and really finding that the community was craving a place to gather to watch women's sports. And so we did an event here at Brick and Mortar a few months ago, and it went really well. And so they invited us back to talk about planning more pop-ups. And then during that conversation, they offered the idea of the residency to me because the space is designed as an incubator for chefs, and so it's built to cycle through different concepts, which is great. It gives us a place to pop up 5 days a week, and it's been really fun.
You talk about the demand. Obviously, it can feel like a niche, maybe women's sports, but it is such a mass market, thing now. Especially the WNBA is so popular. The Atlanta Dream are doing so well here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Talk about that demand and just like what you've heard from people who are coming to Jolene saying, I'm so excited that you guys have this space for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, everywhere from, just me selfishly wanting to have a place to watch women's sports. And then, it seems like all of Atlanta is just rallying behind this, and just excited to have a place to watch, because sports are fun to watch together, and it's always been that way, and it's no different with women's sports. Those of us who have been fans forever, we've always known it, and now people are catching on. But with how fun it is right now to watch these athletes, it's time that things catch up and give a space and a platform for that.
What's like the most random sport you guys have maybe had to put on here at Jolene, or one that you maybe picked up just by someone suggesting it?
I will say this one isn't even from somebody suggesting it. It's that I came across it, and now it's kind of become a thing, which is corgi races.
Oh, yes.
They're so cute.
I've seen those at like halftime.
Yes, I know, it's like a thing. But people, there aren't really any crazy, ultimate frisbee and women's tackle football, which are really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Those have been some ones that I've been asked about.
You talk about the demand of people wanting to watch women's sports, but there has to be a supplier of a place to do that, like you were saying. Like, where did the concept for this kind of come into your brain and say, hey, I'm going to be the person that's going to do that?
I've always been like entrepreneurial minded, and knew that one day I wanted to own something, and I didn't know what that was. And I remember years ago talking to my mom about, wouldn't it be cool if there was a bar that was like women's sports? And so I had that thought, and then, the sports bra launched in Portland a few years ago.
Yes,
and
I've seen that.
Yeah, and she kind of kicked it off. She's like the pioneer. She's Jenny, the owner of that bar. She's, like mother of the sports bar, the women's sports bar. And so from there, it kind of gave like a concrete visual of like, oh, this can happen and it can be successful. I knew Atlanta needed a space that could house, a place to champion women and to house conversations about equity and about just like, just being involved in these players' lives and in teams and in just like your own personal athletic journey, and just nothing like that exists here for women's sports, and it is specifically, I mean, it's for women's sports and not for women. That gets confused a lot.
Yeah.
Jolene is very much for everybody. It's just we highlight women's sports is the whole thing. It was more about creating a space that was safe for people to come watch women's sports or not. The idea is that non-fans can come and hopefully they leave fans. But I want to create a space that it's not intimidating, it's very welcoming, it's warm, it's for everybody to come, and it's cool having been here in the residency. I've seen that happen, which is cool. People will come in and I try to talk to everybody that comes through, and a lot of people are like, we don't even know what is basketball, like what's even happening, and I just love that I'm like, what are you doing here? And they're like, we just saw that on TikTok and wanted to check it out. And I'm like, that's so cool, and that's how it should be, and so it's fun to see that really, really happen.
What's it like to have people like that come in here, and this is like, I'm sure your baby, and you get to share it with these people who have no idea what's going on.
It's so cool. Yeah. It's just so cool. Like, it's the fact that like every day we open and people come, I'm like, oh, like I'm just so excited because you dream about something and for you it's something you want, but to see other people want it, it's just, it's really, really cool, and it's really special to see kind of what it means to people.
What's been your favorite memory so far throughout this Jolene journey?
I don't know, I've got a few. I mean, definitely one is the first time that I was wearing a Jolene t-shirt. I was at the airport, I was getting breakfast across from my gate, and the server, he stopped me and he was like, I've heard of that. And I was like, what? What do you mean you've heard of this? And like that, and I'll never forget it because it was the first time it was recognized by someone that wasn't like my friends or family, and to be not nearby, like I was down at the airport, and that was really cool. And so to see that was cool, and yeah, like I mentioned, a number of conversations from women who have told me really just like how much this space means to them. That means a lot to me, and I hope that continues. As long as we're, as long as we exist, I hope that will continue to be the case.
If there's a day where there's not any women's sports on, like, do you just put on any sports? How does that work?
Yeah, which thankfully so far there's only been like one or two of those.
Okay.
Usually you can always find something. We're not exclusively women's sports, so that's also another thing that kind of is a little different from some of the other women's sports bars, because we are, very uniquely, being in the South, there's a lot going on here.
Yes.
And it's different than like a Portland, Oregon, or like, the folks that are doing it on the West Coast, and like, like college football season's coming up. And that's a big deal. And I'm not gonna shy away from that. Like, we're going all in on college football. Nice. So yeah, and I mean, because we love Atlanta, we love this, we love Georgia, we love our sports. We prioritize women's sports, and that will always be the case.
Sure.
But I'm gonna throw a Georgia game on, and we're gonna do all those things, and because if we can do something that's bringing people together and just like being in a fun and just like happy environment, then why would we not?
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Chelsea. I really appreciate it. Everyone, check out Jolene. Really cool space here. We'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
And I know you're learning your teammates' names. You know their names, right?
I know Bijan.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
This is Leonard Floyd over here. You guys want it? Nice to meet you.
Yay!
Back to you guys.
Man, 10 years.
Okay, the thing that I didn't notice the first time I watched that clip is the way that Leonard Floyd was just kind of laughing through the pain there.
Honestly, if that was going to happen to anyone, it's probably good that it was Leonard Floyd, because he's so chill and he probably understood. He's like, well, yeah, it's Bijan, and
right.
But still, like, that's so sad.
I know. I mean, the guy literally just got there.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Tough.
I don't blame him at all because
That
you
was
look at, like, he literally had 5 days. When was he going to run into Leonard Floyd?
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys next week on Rise Up Tonight. You know our names, right?